In a shocking turn of events that has sent shockwaves through the Middle East, Yemen has launched a daring attack on a U.S. military base situated on the border of Israel, ostensibly in support of Palestine. This brazen act of aggression, which occurred on a hot and tense afternoon, has raised numerous questions about the complex dynamics in the region, the motivations behind such an audacious attack, and the potential repercussions for regional stability and global geopolitics. To understand the significance of this event, we must delve into the history of the Yemeni conflict, the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and the broader context of Middle Eastern politics. The conflict in Yemen has been raging for years, and it is one of the most overlooked and devastating crises in the world today. Yemen, a nation located in the southwestern corner of the Arabian Peninsula, has been torn apart by a civil war that began in 2015. On one side, there is the internationally recognized government led by President Abdrabbu Mansur Hadi, which is supported by a Saudi-led coalition. On the other side are Houthi rebels, who have received significant backing from Iran. This conflict has resulted in untold suffering for the Yemeni people, including widespread famine, cholera outbreaks, and a collapsed healthcare system. To understand why Yemen would launch an attack on a U.S. military base bordering Israel in support of Palestine, we must consider the broader geopolitical context. Yemen has long accused the United States of providing military support to the Saudi-led coalition, which has resulted in significant civilian casualties. The Houthi rebels, who control large parts of Yemen, view the United States as a key player in their suffering and have expressed solidarity with the Palestinian cause. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is one of the most enduring and deeply rooted conflicts in modern history. It revolves around competing claims to the same land and has led to decades of violence, negotiations, and broken peace agreements. The conflict has its origins in the late 19th century, when Jews and Arabs both laid claim to historic Palestine. It escalated significantly after the creation of the State of Israel in 1948, leading to a series of wars, territorial disputes, and a consistent cycle of violence. The core issue in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is the question of land and sovereignty. Both Israelis and Palestinians claim the right to self-determination and statehood, but the territorial boundaries and the status of Jerusalem have been long-standing points of contention. Additionally, the displacement of Palestinian refugees and the construction of Israeli settlements in the West Bank have exacerbated tensions. The United States has played a central role in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict for decades. It has been a staunch ally of Israel, providing significant military, financial, and political support. The U.S. has also sought to mediate peace negotiations between Israelis and Palestinians with varying degrees of success. However, many Palestinians view the United States as biased in favor of Israel, which has strained diplomatic efforts. The attack on the U.S. military base bordering Israel was a carefully coordinated and audacious move by Yemen. It caught many by surprise and has escalated tensions in the already volatile Middle East. The attack resulted in casualties among both U.S. and Yemeni forces, further complicating the situation. Yemen's attack on the U.S. base is a clear message of solidarity with the Palestinian cause. It signifies Yemen's support for the Palestinian people in their struggle for self-determination and statehood. The Houthi rebels, who control Yemen's capital, Sana'a, and much of the country, have repeatedly expressed their support for Palestine and condemnation of Israeli actions. The attack can be seen as an attempt by Yemen to draw international attention to the suffering of Palestinians and to pressure the United States to reconsider its support for Israel. It sends a powerful message that Yemen is willing to take bold actions to support its fellow Arabs in their struggle against what many perceive as Israeli occupation. The attack on the U.S. base has far-reaching regional implications. It has the potential to further destabilize an already volatile region, where tensions between Iran and Saudi Arabia are at an all-time high. Yemen's alignment with Iran in the conflict further complicates the geopolitical landscape as it deepens the divide between Sunni-majority Saudi Arabia and Shia-majority Iran. The attack also raises questions about the security of U.S. military installations in the Middle East. If Yemen can successfully carry out such an attack, it highlights vulnerabilities in American military presence in the region and challenges the notion of U.S. dominance. The international community has reacted swiftly to the attack on the U.S. base. The United Nations, European Union, and several individual nations have condemned the attack and called for restraint. The United States has vowed to investigate the incident thoroughly and has not ruled out military retaliation. Israel, on the other hand, has expressed concern over the attack on its border. The Israeli government views the incident as a direct threat to its security and has called for international support in dealing with the situation. In the aftermath of the attack, diplomatic efforts are underway to diffuse tensions and find a peaceful resolution to the crisis. The United States, despite being the target of the attack, has indicated its willingness to engage in dialogue with Yemen and other regional actors. The international community is urging all parties to come to the negotiating table and find a diplomatic solution to the Yemeni conflict and the broader regional tensions. The situation remains highly volatile, and there is a real risk of further escalation. The United States faces a delicate balancing act as it navigates its relationships with Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Yemen. Any military response carries the risk of triggering a wider conflict in the region, with potentially devastating consequences. Additionally, Iran's involvement in the Yemeni conflict adds another layer of complexity. The United States and its allies in the region view Iran as a destabilizing force, and the attack on the U.S. base could be seen as part of Iran's broader strategy to challenge American influence in the Middle East. The attack on the U.S. base also highlights the role of non-state actors in the region's conflicts. Houthi rebels who carried out the attack are not a traditional military force, but a rebel group with significant military capabilities. Non-state actors like the Houthis, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and various militia groups in Iraq have played prominent roles in regional conflicts, further complicating the landscape. Amidst the geopolitical maneuvering and military actions, it is essential not to lose sight of the humanitarian catastrophe in Yemen. The Yemeni people have borne the brunt of the conflict, with millions facing starvation, lack of access to clean water, and inadequate medical care. The attack on the U.S. base draws attention to the urgent need for humanitarian assistance in Yemen and the imperative of finding a lasting solution to the conflict. Addressing the complex challenges in the Middle East requires international cooperation and consensus. The United Nations and regional organizations such as the Arab League should play pivotal roles in facilitating diplomatic negotiations, monitoring ceasefires, and providing humanitarian aid. The involvement of major powers like the United States, Russia, China, and the European Union is essential to bring about lasting peace in the region. These nations can use their diplomatic influence to encourage all parties to engage constructively in peace talks and to support diplomatic initiatives aimed at resolving conflicts. Civil society organizations, both within the region and globally, can also contribute to peace-building efforts. Grassroots movements, religious leaders, and non-governmental organizations can work to foster dialogue, promote tolerance, and advocate for peace. Education and media play vital roles in shaping public opinion. Efforts should be made to promote unbiased reporting and educate the public about the complexities of the conflicts in the Middle East, as well as the importance of peaceful coexistence and the value of diplomacy. The attack on the U.S. military base on the border of Israel by Yemen in support of Palestine underscores the intricate web of conflicts and tensions that define the Middle East. It serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need for diplomatic solutions, humanitarian assistance, and international cooperation. The suffering of the Yemeni people and the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict must not be allowed to continue indefinitely. The international community must seize this moment as an opportunity to reinvigorate peace efforts, address the root causes of conflict, and work toward a more stable and prosperous Middle East. The road to peace is undoubtedly challenging, but it is not impossible. It requires commitment, diplomacy, and empathy from all parties involved. The alternative, further violence, instability, and human suffering, is simply unacceptable. The events on the border of Israel serve as a wake-up call to the world, reminding us of the high stakes and the moral imperative to pursue peace in one of the world's most troubled regions. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure the notification bell is turned on so you don't miss a video.